Your eyes take in millions of details every second. But how sharp is your vision really? And how do doctors actually measure it? Visual acuity is the clarity or sharpness of your vision, your eye's ability to distinguish fine details at a given distance. It's one of the most fundamental measures of eye health. The Snellen chart, invented by Dutch ophthalmologist Herman Snellen in 1862, is the iconic letter chart used in almost every eye exam. It features rows of letters that get progressively smaller, and you read them from a standard distance of 20 feet or 6 meters. The results are written as a fraction, like 20 over 20 or 20 over 200. The top number is your testing distance in feet. The bottom number is the distance at which a person with normal vision could read that same line. So 20 over 20 means perfect normal vision. 20 over 40 means you need to be at 20 feet to see what a normal eye sees at 40. And 20 over 200 is the legal threshold for blindness in many countries. During the test, each eye is tested separately. You cover one eye, read aloud the smallest line you can see clearly, and the optometrist records your score. A pinhole occluder may also be used to determine if blur is due to a refractive error, like short-sightedness, or something deeper.
Parents. Visual acuity. What can go wrong? When someone is asked to read an eye chart, it can seem as though we are measuring one simple thing. How well can this person see? But visual acuity is more complicated than that. A reduced score can have many different explanations. The most familiar is a refractive error. The eye may be long-sighted, short-sighted, or have astigmatism. The image reaching the retina may simply not be properly focused. Correcting the refractive error can therefore produce a substantial improvement. But good vision is not simply a matter of having the right prescription. Another possibility is amblyopia, sometimes called a lazy eye. This develops when normal visual development has been disrupted, particularly during childhood. It can be associated with unequal refractive errors, strabismus, or other causes of poor visual input during development. Importantly, a child does not necessarily know that one eye is seeing less well. They may simply experience their vision as normal. And visual acuity changes naturally throughout life. A young child's visual system is still developing. Vision can also change with age because of changes in the lens, retina, ocular media, accommodation, and other parts of the visual system. So a visual acuity result should always be interpreted in relation to the person's age, history, and circumstances. But there is another important question. What happens if the person can see the target, but cannot use their eyes efficiently to find and follow it? Some people have difficulty moving their eyes smoothly across a line of print. They may lose their place. They may repeatedly return to the beginning. They may skip words or letters. They may appear to have difficulty finding a particular target even though, when it is presented alone, they can identify it.
Okay, when you look at the sight test chart, what line could you see without the colour?
Not very good at all.
What happened? How did you get round in school?
The stuff they have on the walls it's different textures and
So you
have them all round.
So you actually walked around holding the wall?
Yeah. They've got that in my school all around, even in the corridors.
Yeah, and you had to use that. Did you have to use that to get around?
Yeah.
What happens? What's the difference in your vision? Well, how much could you see when you put the lenses on? The colour.
Just now.
Yeah.
Before couldn't see at all.
And
so
now?
Just all blurry. I'm perfectly clear.
Could you see the bottom line now?
Yeah.
This does not automatically mean that the person has an eye disease. It may indicate that something about eye movements, attention, binocular vision, or visual processing needs further investigation. This is particularly important in children. A child who continually loses their place while reading may not simply need stronger glasses. There may be several possible explanations, and the pattern needs to be understood rather than assumed. The same principle applies when visual acuity changes dramatically depending on how the test is presented. A person may perform differently with isolated letters in a line, different spacing, different contrast, different illumination, different backgrounds, or different visual conditions. Standard acuity testing controls these factors deliberately. That is useful because it makes measurements repeatable. But it also means that a conventional acuity score cannot describe everything that happens during everyday vision. In the next part of this course, you will see examples where changing the visual stimulus can change performance. These effects should not automatically be interpreted as evidence of disease. But neither should they automatically be dismissed simply because they are not part of a conventional acuity measurement. They are observations. And observations can tell us when a person needs a more detailed assessment.
My two hands.
I'm just going to change the colour of the light. And what happens with the green light on?
Just get one hand.
I'll do this.
Can't see them at all.
An optometrist should take reports such as reversing or inverting letters, jumping around the chart, or describing words and text as moving, unstable, bouncing, or spinning seriously as potentially meaningful visual symptoms. However, conventional acuity testing often treats these responses as evidence that the patient is unreliable, rather than as information about how the visual system is functioning. Such experiences are particularly relevant when assessing people with dyslexia, autism, or other neurodevelopmentally difficulties, where the way visual information is processed may differ from the assumptions built into standard acuity testing.
First of all, what's the difference when you put the glasses on? Is there any difference in how clear the chart is? What's the difference?
It's clearer.
Is it a lot clearer or just a little bit?
A lot clearer.
Right, can you see the bottom line there with both eyes? When you take them off, what can you see?
Nothing. Nothing on the bottom line.
Can you see the next bottom line?
Sort of.
But it's the third bottom line that you can see, really. So there's two lines better with the specs. Okay, that's a start. Well,
There is also an important safety issue. A change in vision that happens suddenly is different from a long-standing difficulty. Sudden loss of vision, a sudden increase in flashes or floaters, a dark curtain or shadow across the vision, severe eye pain, a very red painful eye, sudden double vision, or vision loss following an injury can require urgent assessment. Some of these problems can threaten sight. Others can indicate disease elsewhere in the body. So if vision suddenly changes, do not assume that the person's glasses are simply no longer correct. Seek professional advice promptly. If there is sudden severe loss of vision, severe eye pain, a significant eye injury, or an acute problem associated with other serious symptoms, emergency medical assessment may be necessary. For parents, the most important message is this: visual acuity is a measurement, not a diagnosis. A reduced score may result from focusing problems, amblyopia, eye disease, developmental differences, neurological problems, or simply difficulties with the way the test is being performed. And a good score does not necessarily mean that every aspect of vision is functioning normally. The important question is not simply, what number did they get? It is, what does their visual behavior tell us? That is the question we will explore next.